Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about slope, but in this case, it's going to be talking about if we see slope or we see a rate, what it's telling us. Okay, remember, slope is a rate, so we need to be able to read it like one. So if you're driving 30 miles per hour, you should be able to know what that means. Now, until you're old enough to drive, it's a little bit harder because unless you're watching the speedometer as your parents drive, you're not sure how fast you're moving. I get that. But let's talk about maybe money because we all like money. We like earning money. We like to know that if I do this project and it takes me 4 hours, how much I'm going to be able to make from that. It's actually a basic concept we use in life, right? We get paid per hour when we turn 16. When we own a company, we get paid through projects. Overall, really, all you're getting done is getting paid for the service you provide, whether that's, something you physically make or if it's something you do for somebody, whatever it is, you get paid for service to others. And we want to know that if something's going to take me 4 hours, I should charge or be able to earn, you know, $30 per hour or whatever it's going to be. So we need to look at that. In this case, let's talk about as if you're babysitting. Let's say your parents were nice enough to actually pay you to babysit your little brother or sister, or you got a friend who's willing to pay you to babysit their younger kid, or a friend's mom and dad will. So at 0 hours, you're not going to earn anything. They're not going to pay you if you haven't done anything. So that point is right here. That kind of makes sense. Now, all I'm doing right now is I'm graphing the data, right? So after 2 hours, they're going to pay you $10. After 4 hours, they've paid you $20. And most, date nights, most time of parents hanging out, whatever, it's going to be about 4 hours. So you could expect on average probably getting $20, something like that. But let's say you're trying to figure out, hey, they're taking an entire Saturday. So at 6 hours, $30. Let's say older brother and sister have a soccer game. So they're going to pay you to watch the kids all day. At 10 hours before they get home, you're going to be able to make $50. But what happens? What can we expect if it's 5 hours? Well, that's not given to us in our graph. That's kind of what a graph is helping us to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph it. So I get a straight edge. In this case, I'm using my calculator. I'm going to graph it. There it is. What we're asking is, what is the slope? What is the rate at which we're being paid? Well, find and interpret the slope of the line through the points. This is great. We have found the data. We've graphed it. Now I need to find how far I'm going up. So I go up 1 unit. To go from one point to the next, I just go up 1 unit. The thing is, each unit is $10. So 1 unit equals $10. I went up 1 unit. So I don't want to write, how much I go up is plus 1, as I normally would, for slope. What I want to do, now I could, but I don't want to confuse myself at the end. What I want to do is I actually want to write that plus 10, because I know 1 unit is 10. I went up 1 unit, so it needs to be 10. Now, I need to go over 2 units, so that's plus 2. And I did forget to write that plus 1. Now here I noticed that I went over 2 and that was worth 2. So this one I keep as 2. Now I want to simplify my signs first. So thinking back, I remember my factor Fox tells me if I have the same signs, I'm going to end up with a positive number. So that means I'm going to get rid of the signs because I just figured out that they are the same number, or the same sign. So 10 over 2. That still doesn't tell me, hey, at 5 hours, how much am I making? So I actually have to solve this to figure that out. If I take 10 divided by 2, I get 5. So what does this tell me? Well, if I remember, this was $10. This was dollars. And down below here, the 2's, those were hours. Hours. Now, when I divided this, what actually happened was the 2 became a 1. So that means I have 1 hour and I have $5. Or the slope is telling us that I will be paid $5 per hour. In other words, we found our unit rate. Does it always work out to be a unit rate? Well, you can make any rate into a unit rate just by dividing. So a lot of the times you can. Not always, but when we're talking about things like pay, we tend to do that. So first we graph the data so we could visually see our expectation of pay. Then we sat there and said, okay, to go from one to the other, all we have to do is solve. Now, one thing I do want to take time with real quick to be able to discuss is I don't have to just go from one point to the nearest one. I could have picked any 2 points. Let's say I started here and I go up 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is plus 3. And then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to the right 6 times. What I'm going to find out is my slope is plus 3 over my run, which was plus 6. First thing I do is simplify my signs. Same signs, positive. So it's just 3 over 6. And I notice I can simplify that. So I'm going to divide each side by 3 because they share a factor of 3. 3, 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So as discussed before, as long as I follow the correct steps and I go from one point to another on my graph, when I simplify everything, I will always end up doing the same thing. Here's why I can say that. Remember, back here, each unit was 10. So this would be the same thing as 10. In other words, I got, excuse me, instead of just 1, that equals 10 divided by 2, which I already know was 5. Now it's the same 5, and it's $5 per hour, because when I divided by 2, the 2 became a 1, the 10 became a 5, and everything we did upstairs, or on the top part, I said upstairs, everything we did up here above our answer is the same as what we did below, just different numbers. We did it at different times. So make sure you watch the videos as many times as you need to. Ask questions, send them to me. I'll be glad to get back to you as soon as I'm able to. And you guys stay safe. Have a great rest of your night.